Make the ground shake.
Hello YouTube, this is Bleach Chapter 675 review, and this chapter was hype, and I want to just talk about everything in this chapter really, but I'm going to have to start off with things that I did like to see. Like, I would, honestly right now, I would freaking go straight to the end of this chapter and just fanboy right over it, but this is a review, so I gotta take this seriously. So, what I want to say is, Orihime, thank you for doing something this chapter. Like, last chapter, I was like, what were you doing, Orihime? But this chapter, I was like, oh yeah, you're doing something now. You're doing something now. And I love how she used the shield Ichigo from Juhabak's attack. She healed Ichigo, and she grabbed his, like, cloak at one point and stopped him. And I'll get into that later on what that actually did and why he actually stopped. We've all know from reading this chapter, but that was really hype. So, we really start off this chapter with Uryu going against Hashua, and Uryu's like, why didn't you just defeat me, you know? Because if you had defeated me, you could have got to Juhabak. You're asking me all these questions. I didn't think you were a type of person like that. And Hashua was like, I didn't need to stop you. I can see into the future. And Uryu said, but the future can be changed. And Hashua said, yes, it can. But he said, not for Juhabak. And Juhabak has another power. Let me tell you about it. And then he said, but I'll save that for later when the fight ends. So the fight's starting between those two. And there was a lot of dialogue. I like that. You know, that's unusual really for a Bleach chapter. But there was a lot of dialogue in between there. As you can tell from last chapter, there was a lot of dialogue too. And I'm not saying there was a lot of dialogue the whole chapter, but between the conversation between Hashua and Uryu, there was a lot of dialogue. And I liked that. And the background, there wasn't really a lot of background. It was kind of, you know, just a little bit typical, you know, for Bleach. You know, maybe a little bit of background, but mostly white. It was mostly white, really. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just like how the fight's setting up there. But then we switch over to where Ichigo is going against Juhabak. And what really is confusing me is, where did Ishin and Ryuka go? I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the name of Ryuka, but Ryuka is Uryu's father, if I'm correct. And I didn't mention that last chapter because I forgot his name. But where are those two? Like, where did they go? And when is Renji and Rukia gonna show up? Because as we know from last chapter, they were on their way to go help Ichigo. So, like, where are they at? Where are they at? No. Alright, I just sounded so stupid saying that. But anyways, when they're fighting Ichigo and Juhabak, when they're fighting, Ichigo is just like, he's doing nothing to Juhabak. And Juhabak's like, saying what he said last chapter. Why rush to death, Ichigo? Show me your true power. Are you afraid I'll steal it? And I was like, oh gosh, you know, Juhabak was just really wrecking Ichigo. And there was one point where, like, Ichigo was about to get hit by the blast, and Orihime shielded. And I liked that. There was a part where Orihime healed him. I really liked that. And there was a part where Orihime stopped him, and that was the first part. And I was like, whoa, why are you doing that? And Ichigo stopped for a minute. But we later find out that he was gathering up Quincy Ryozetsu. So, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I did not really understand what his new power is. I know it's not Bankai because he didn't say Bankai. But I think he fused, like, all his powers together because he has a freaking hollow horn, like the Vasto Lorde thing he had, and he's got like a white hair, I think, maybe orange hair, and it's going back, but there's not a horn on the other side, so I'm guessing that's his Quincy powers. I'm sure he has some Fullbring powers in there. I know a lot of people don't care about Fullbring, but I'm sure he has some of his Fullbring powers in there, and obviously he has his Soul Reaper powers, so this is so freaking hype. I mean, woo! This chapter of Bleach just came in and was like, yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. A lot of people were expecting a Bankai, but no, I don't think this is a Bankai. This is like a mixture of all his powers into one. And oh, this chapter, it's so hype. I'm sorry, I said that I didn't want to fanboy, but I'm fanboying. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, no, that's so hype. Oh my gosh. This chapter was amazing. But honestly, last chapter, I thought that Ishin and Riruko saved Ichigo because I thought Ichigo was down. But apparently not. I honestly don't know where they're at now. I thought they were with Ichigo and Orihime, but apparently not. So I'm really enjoying this fight between Ichigo and Juhabak. And I like the setup between the fight for Hoshwall and Oryu. And I don't really feel like this chapter had that much, but in a sense, it brung what I wanted. It got me hyped, and Kubo, you did a good job. Kubo has been doing a great job, and I don't see why people, complaining. They're like, oh, it's another Bankai, like, oh, whatever, I don't really see a lot of people doing that, but, like, I know people are doing it. It's like, well, Bankais are hype. New power-ups are hype. And we're getting progression, and I really enjoy it. And I just hate when people hate on Bleach for like Bankais and stuff. I mean, that's really Bleach's hype. Most hype thing is the Bankais. I mean, other things like a little bit of the backstories, which we don't get a lot of backstories in Bleach unless a character's dying, and a lot of people complain about that too. I really did enjoy this chapter. The problems I had with this chapter is I don't know where Ishin and Ryuka are. So I'm going to give this chapter 9 out of 10 or 8.5. I'm leaning more for a 9 out of 10 because this chapter was really hype. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, the chapter was 8.5 or 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, give me a like. If you're hyped for Bleach, just scream and write a comment down saying hype or something like that. Subscribe, guys, if you want more Bleach reviews like this. Sometimes I probably won't be fanboying like this, but, Anyways, guys, have a nice day. And all you Bleach fans out there, hype! Hype, 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 hype. I'm out, guys. I just voice cracked so much, but I'm out, guys.